being said, though, let's feed into something that confused us even more, but that I'm sure a lot of the male people in the audience
I
probably
enjoyed
enjoyed.
it, but I was still insanely
And those
confused.
are
And by the end of it,
single.
going, this was not worth watching. This was not. You don't need to go out of your way to see this match. You really don't.
No.
It's essentially pointless unless you want to see girls in bikini tops.
If you want to throw back to the dark times of women's wrestling in the Attitude Era, this is what you want to watch.
It's not that much. In reality, it's their bikini tops are not that much more revealing than the gear they wear outside of maybe Tam. Like especially with boobies on. I mean, if you're a cowboy, there ain't much of a difference there.
Nope.
But everything, it was just about revealing. It's just you explain this.
Essentially the Cosmic Rules match was a regular wrestling match. The only thing that changed is that water was now an acceptable form of attack. They could have called this essentially in the Attitude Era kind of days. This would be a bikini match or a water fight match. There was very minimal amount of actual wrestling happening, despite the amount of wrestling talent that was involved in this match. But I don't think this match was actually meant to be anything other than a thirst trap for
like literally early on in the match, I literally read Mina starts shaking her tits at Nat. Then Natsupoi tries to shake hers back, but then like she can't she's not boobies on as she's known as, and it's just they start smashing their tits into each other, but Nat can't knock over Mina, and it's just.
And that was about as much wrestling as there was. There's very, like I said, very minimal amounts.
This is a spot I thought it was on the night before, but it's not. It's on this one. They actually tried for essentially a double Romero special or the surfboard stretch where you hook them up and you bring them back, and they go to do it one on one arm and the leg, and they go up and they just falls apart as they start to go backwards. It just falls apart and they falls over, and I'm just like,
why though?
And then was it Unagi got a hold of Unagi? Yeah, I think she got the first water gun, and then it just became a water gun fight. I think Mina Shirakawa got soaked first, so she took her shirt off.
Yeah, she was the only striptease in that one.
Yeah, and she showing why she's boobies on, and then
more. And they also watched the commentary.
And then more water. I didn't even. Yeah, they sprayed a couple of the girls with commentary, and then more water gun fights, and then they all run to the back. Unagi, I think, started opening up everybody's shirts.
Yeah, they were in like a Congo line of submission where everyone kind of had someone by the neck, and she just started ripping open their polo shirts.
And then the ring is just insanely slippery by this point. Like all the girls are slipping and sliding all over the ring.
Yeah.
And then the audio goes out because a song started to play and the audio went up because I guess there was a DJ doing the music for them that night, and they couldn't replay it on the Stardom-World, at least the DJ stuff from the main part of the show. They could only show the music from the 5-star matches. This was their actual entrances because none of the girls came out to their actual music, I guess.
Oh.
And all the girls run to the back as Unagi chases them, and then they all run back out, and then they all run to the back again. And I think it was a good 2 minutes at least of the girls just not being out there and the ref being insanely confused for 2 minutes. And then seeing every girl except Unagi come running out with towels on and then run into the ring, all slip and fall. Then Unagi saunters her way out, holding the bra tops of all the girls. And then her just yelling with the ref. I can't understand what's going on because nothing else happens at this point. Just yelling at the ref's yelling at her. And then he rings the bell, and that's where the feed cut off because the music started playing. So I double checked the results stuff I could find, and the ref disqualified Unagi but only Unagi, not her partner. Was it Mina?
Shirakawa,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. He didn't disqualify Mina Shirakawa. It was essentially everybody else kind of sort of won by disqualification, including the girl who got disqualified's partner got a win. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, this one just, as I said, it was just a thirst trap. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it
No.
and the investigation afterwards. I just know that they looked really excited at the beginning and not really excited at the end. And the following promo that was cut backstage, Mina was also very angry with Unagi. So it
Well, they're
unfortunately
partners, and then Unagi turned on her essentially and tried to strip her
stole her
down.
top.
So
Who steals their tops?
I
See
don't
what I've been
know.
telling you about that Unagi? You can't trust her. She doesn't fit there.
But yeah, she's insane. But I think she's very entertaining as a pro wrestler, though. That's the thing.
She is, and a very
She's
accomplished
insanely.
wrestler.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a convoluted mishmash of stuff that should be left in 1999. So
If you like girls, watch it. If you're not into it, don't watch it.
I like girls, and I don't even recommend people that do watch it because it's just utter pointless stupidity, unless you, just gross almost at this point.
But it wasn't their best moment, that's for sure.
No, so we're gonna move on to what was a better match than this, and it was a hardcore tag team match with the team of Julia and Rina Yamashita, who just came to the company a few shows ago, and I mentioned it on I think the last show that she came up to save Julia from Oedo Tai, setting up this tag team match of versus Oedo Tai's Momo Watanabe and Aruka. Rucka, sorry, I always say I think Ruka, whatever. But honestly, this was it was again not my kind of match, but it was still better than that Cosmic Rules match.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a plunder match, just people beating up each other with weapons, and yeah.
It was exactly what I expected, kind of out of a hardcore match. Just not to take away from it and the girls involved, but again, it's not my favorite kind of match. I don't do well with weapons and stuff like that. Seeing a local show here really messed that up for me in my head.
Well, I got messed up from years ago when what was his name? Nigel McGuinness had to retire because some a-hole didn't disclose that he had hep, and he caught hep in a ring from another wrestler. Yeah, that's when I went, I don't need to see blood in professional wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just, again, there were some interesting spots. They had these like brick thingies that people punch through.
Tiles, yes.
Yeah, the tiles. I didn't know they're. And at one point,
they look like ceiling tiles to me, almost like the roof tiles.
Well, they're like those tiles that people like punch, like karate people punch through and stuff. But like Julia's like laying on top of it, and Momo has a chain, and she goes to punch Julia, and Julia just ducks out of the way, and Momo punches through the bricks with the chain and just grabs her hand, and then Julia just kicks a chair into Momo's face, and I'm just like, what? And then there's at one point Rina's in the ring and she's beating the shit out of Momo with a chair. Then she throws more chairs on top of Momo and just creeps cracking her. Then Ruka comes in and she slams her on top and starts smashing him even more with chairs. I'm just like, holy crap. And then the other thing was, why was there tags? Literally, they were tagging in and out. Why? It's a hardcore match.
Why though?
There's no need for a tag. There's so much. There's so much.
It did feel like it kind of almost broke down at one point, and where it was almost like a zero control factor going on there, where it just kind of ended.
I'll say there was some cool stuff. Like there was one point, Rina hit a side Russian leg sweep to Ruka right onto a ladder. Oh, and then hit a high angle German onto that same ladder. It was just, it was rough, and it was just so much crazy. Ruka ended up cracking Julia in the head with a guitar, And the first time she hits her straight, like right on the, not right on the back part, but right on like the top where my bald spot would be, or my bald spot is. And like one, and it does it, you can just see it, the guitar just splinter a little, and she full on smashed her. And I'm like, oh, they're not you. I got really mad because they weren't using a work guitar. This was an actual guitar. Like it wasn't a, well, the fact that it didn't break with the power that she was swinging it with. Yeah, I've seen Jeff Jarrett use actual work guitars. They break like as soon as they contact, they break. This was not a Jeff Jarrett work guitar. This was real, and I don't ever need to see that because it's like, why do you have to do that? But again, this is Japan, and they do some crazy ass shit over here. But
yeah, they like their light bulbs and their sticks in the head.
Yeah, the finish came. Julia ended up putting Rucka on the top rope and hits a super butterfly suplex off the top. And then Rena hit a superfly splash off the top onto her. And then Julia hits her backdrop driver and pins Rucka for the win. It's hard to explain. It was enjoyable. There was a couple of breakdowns in the match, but I did enjoy it for the most part. Again, not what I want to see, but they didn't do blood, which brought this a hardcore match up for me, is the fact that nobody was bleeding like nobody was bleeding like a Jon Moxley, essentially. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That's the one thing that saved this match for me. If there was blood, I think it would have taken me out, because it's like it wasn't needed, because it was just as effective without blood as it would have been with blood. I think, I thought, and it showed Rena was doing a lot of beating the crap out of people and showing why she is a deathmatch wrestler and doing some of the hardcore stuff she does. But yeah, just overall, I enjoyed it. But if you're not into plunder style matches, you will not enjoy it.
No, 100%.